Are you ready for some more therapy? Can you handle more? Oh my goodness. Today's episode, like them all, is really good. We are talking about sort of a new topic that we haven't touched in retail therapy yet about team structures and really building a team that supports you as the business owner to allow you to live more in that, zone of genius or do the things that you're best at and really focus your attention there. We're really getting into a place. I love this because it's pretty tactical. There's some really good frameworks that you can use to set up a well-structured team, have ultimate clarity for you and your employees. So everybody's just really clear on what their role is, what they're in charge of, their ownership, which will really empower your team. And then also we touch on conflict, which was really great to talk about because as you have team restructuring or you bring on new people, that can create some conflict, right? And Kareen has a really good framework on helping you set the standard ahead of time so you know how to approach that if that ever does happen for you. So we're talking about evolution, we're talking about change, we're talking about just some really great things to create that strong foundation within your store. My retailer today is Katie, owner of Affordable Treasures. I've known Katie for many years, and I just so appreciate our retailers opening up, sharing what they're going through, being willing to get this support because it allows us to help other retailers like you listening. And so I think you're going to get a lot of value out of what Katie is going through and her struggle today. And Kareen is back for one more retail therapy episode. And I know that you're going to get so much value out of this. We mentioned her quiz. And in case you haven't taken this because we've mentioned it on other episodes as well. HeyKareen.com/CEO. And that's a really good quiz for you to take and anyone else that might be in an executive level with you, maybe your operator, your integrator, your business partner, a spouse that works with you. You could take that quiz to understand who's the CEO, who's the creator, the entrepreneur, and the operator. You really need those three roles. And so we talk about those roles and what's important to the team structure in this episode. So be sure to get that. We'll link to that quiz as well, but go take it. I've taken it. I'd be curious what you are. Share with me. And let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. Katie, Kareen, welcome to Retail Therapy on Rooted in Retail. I am so excited that you both are here, back for another therapy session. We are not actual therapists though, but we are here to help coach and consult and work on strategy with our retailers. Today we have Katie, who owns Affordable Treasures. I've known Katie forever. And we did say before filming, it's been a million years that we've known each other. So we both look really amazing for that length of time. And I'm excited to dive in. But before we do, Kareen, I want you to intro yourself in case nobody's heard our past episodes that you've done so far. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be a retail therapist again. This has been so much fun having these conversations. So I am an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneurial coach and guide. I'm an investor. And truly, I feel like my mission is to help others really bring their vision to life. Like, in whether it's through business and life, I think as entrepreneurs, it's all integrated. So I do my best to share whatever tools, tips, talks, mindset, whatever it is to ensure that you actually can step into aligned action and make that happen.
Love it, which you have helped me do. And I always am talking about it. Go get the Hey Kareen app because I use this every morning. I get business consulting from it. I love it. And Katie, you'll get a taste of that today. But Katie, tell us a little bit about you and your store before we dive into helping you today.
So Affordable Treasures is kind of an old-fashioned variety store. We were started in 1986 by my father and mother-in-law. And then my husband and I bought the business in 2000 and have been running it together for 25 years now. We specialize in party supplies, toys and games, arts and crafts, school and office supplies, costumes all year round, balloons, gift wrap, cards. We call ourselves a one-stop shop for fun.
I love it. And I love that tagline. And Katie, tell us, what can we help you with today?
I have always struggled with big projects. I have lots of big ideas and go in millions of different directions and fail to follow through on most of them. Luckily, my husband is kind of able to tackle big tasks in a very organized manner and follow through. So the things that do get done are because he will tackle them and bring them to completion. But I'm feeling like I always have the ideas and I never have the follow through on the ideas. And one huge project that I have that I really that's been looming over me for decades now is that we don't have an e-commerce site. Our customers have been begging us for an e-commerce site, and I don't know how to get it done. We have over 60,000 SKUs that are active in our POS, and it's just an insurmountable project.
Yeah, it can feel very hefty for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do you want to tackle first? Is it the fact that you are a visionary creator and don't like to execute, but you have to execute? Or is it more on the e-commerce side? And how do you stand up like an e-commerce site? Like, which one do you want to?
Probably the basic issue of being the idea person who can't follow through.
Yeah. So I want you to stop using the language of can't follow through when truly like your zone of genius is around creation. It is the curation of the store. Probably it's on the buying side or deciding what goes into it and the feel of the culture of how people are when they come in and out. And it's so valuable to have that as part of the leadership team of your business that you're downplaying it. And I don't like it. So I want you to stop using that language on yourself, because it's just what you're really saying is what I love to do most is, and the things I need to delegate are, right? Uh-huh. And so when it comes to delegation of execution, and luckily you do have your husband in place, it sounds like he is a solid operator, likes to execute on certain things, where you need to figure out how can you have that done more for you. And maybe it's a short-term hiring for certain projects. Maybe it's identifying a service for a period of time to do certain things for execution, but allow yourself to sit in that creator visionary role. When I can't even remember, Crystal, because we've had so many conversations so far, but the CEO conundrum or the quiz that I always encourage entrepreneurs to take helps you identify your ideal role in your business so that you can actually communicate better to others in your business why execution feels like a challenge for you. It just doesn't light you up. So you're not going to go to it first. So the CEO quiz helps you identify, are you the creator, the entrepreneur, or the operator of the business? Like in your innate energy. And I would encourage you to take that and also have your husband take it just to make sure like you understand where each of you fall. So like as you're running this business, you see where the gap is, because every company needs all three roles. The problem is that when we are a smaller retail firm, a store where we're the ones trying to do everything, overwhelm sets in completely because we're trying to do everything. And we never realize, well, I actually just have a zone I want to play in. So how do I ensure that our earnings are actually going to also invest in the team we need so that this is actually more fun to run and to see the execution that is happening for you. So in regards to the large projects, right, and the fact that you are the visionary, then knowing that you have to have a team. You have to figure out, even if it's one other person, but you have to figure out then who will do execution under your guidance. And see if you can construct some way, shape, or form, some form of the investment of of a small, like, especially when it comes to an e-commerce site, for example, if that's weighing on your head because you want to be able to have even online orders, it can be orders for the balloons and they're set up and you get them ahead of time, and it doesn't have to be like every single SKU gets sold online. You can decide on a select experience that you want to make sure it's easier for your customers to place orders. Then you can figure out the segmentation of what that looks like from a build out standpoint for the e-commerce site, but you're going to definitely need someone to help you execute on that.
Yeah.
Because not having the skill set on what it means to build a commerce site and trying to learn it while trying to run your business is definitely too expensive. That's like, it's too expensive for your company because you're not doing the things that you're known for. So having the vision to say, you know what, even if we just had an online visual of all the balloons we do or all the party favors we have, and it's just that segment of our inventory, who can I hire to get a Shopify site, built out, or a Whoop site, or, figure out the existing commerce sites that can easily plug and play into your inventory management system to know this is what we're selling online and this is what people come to the store for.
Yeah.
Does any of that resonate?
Yeah. If I could just, I've thought that balloons would be a good start for it, because that's one of our biggest pain points, that balloon orders take a lot of time. And they're done either on the phone or in person currently. And I think we're doing a great job considering what's out there on the marketplace, but we could be doing a better job if we had a website that could help us.
A more integrative system. Yeah. So the way to look about that is like your POS system. Do you know, what's your POS right now?
Retail Pro.
Retail Pro. So most POS systems have a web plugin or a web version to be able to have the ability to order online and or fill out an order form online. So the first step would always be to look at the technology you have right now, because that you don't want to like flip everything on its head, and you don't want to do dual entry anywhere. But most POS systems have some other, whether it's Shopify, like plugs into that POS system, or another add-on to the existing subscription you're paying for that POS system, can create the online version for you. And that would be the place to target. But the challenge is because you haven't done this before, it's going to take you much longer to get it done. But that is a quick search to just say, what website e-commerce platforms integrate with my POS system that I already have. I would do that search first and foremost to then see what are those platforms. Every single platform out there has somebody who is an expert on that platform that can come help implement it for you. Now, the overwhelm you also might feel is like, well, how do I go find that person? Or what do I do to do it? Because you're not into execution, right? There are, I don't know if you're familiar with Upwork. Upwork is a site where you can find freelancers that are specialists in certain technology, or they're specialists in a certain task, but they're all professionals that you can contract for special projects to get stuff done for you without having to bring on like a full-time somebody. It's one place to look as well. And also most of these platforms have like trusted vendors or people that they have qualified to say they are experts on our software to build it out as well. But that's one way where it's not so daunting. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I'll also help you too. We've got some resources that I can give you as well to support you there. I kind of want to take a step back, if it's okay, because I saw you get a little emotional when we were talking about the overwhelm and the allowing and it being okay, and just sort of, I don't know if there's like this pressure that's being put, that you're putting on yourself, or where the emotion is coming from. But can I ask what made you get emotional?
Well, I'm kind of always emotions on my sleeve sort of person. I've kind of been struggling with my, when you were talking about being able to delegate to people and having them execute, I guess I've been struggling with my team since COVID. Like pre-COVID, we had a really solid management team of people who would execute for me. And I had 5 people who I could reliably give tasks to and have them execute them. And they would also take things on themselves and like seek out issues and solve them so that I didn't have to deal with all of them. And we lost, 4 out of the 5 due to transitions and COVID and people deciding to move to the opposite coast and all sorts of stuff. And I've tried to replace them, and the 3 that I've managed to find to replace are good at their things that they do, but none of them are very proactive, and none of them, I can't get them to think bigger picture and solve the issues that the other people were just handling. And so I'm just constantly in the position of being the nag. And I just hate that. Like, it drives me nuts that I can't even trust them to do some kind of basic things. Like, I got a message last night, Katie, we keep having people show up at the door after closing telling us that online it says you're open an hour later than we're open. How long has this been happening? How did you not know? Like, why did I not hear about this the very first day that it happened? You guys have heard me say this over and over again, that we cannot have hours that are different than what's published. You can't shut the doors a minute early. That's like, you don't do that. That's terrible for the reputation of a business. And now I find out that it's been an ongoing problem that our hours are wrong on Google. And our hours were wrong on Google last month, and I got it fixed, but I guess it didn't stick. I don't know, like basic stuff like that. I'm like, how in the world have you not communicated this to me? I just don't know what to do about it, because they're good at what they do, but they're not. I'm missing that next level that I used to have that took a lot of pressure off. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a lot. And I think it's good that you're relieving the tension of just realizing that your current team is a mismatch for what you actually need done and the support you're actually looking for. And so I'm curious, if you were to put an ideal job description together and just start putting feelers out for who could come in to support you. Doesn't mean you have to automatically hire this person, but at least to know that you are seeking a more proactive leader, manager type person, based on the fact that who you currently have it's too stressful for you. Like, it's not the what you're paying for is, yes, getting tasks done, but it sounds like there's an actual gap that you need to hire for, that your current team is not trainable to kind of get to that level of what you need.
Yeah.
What would it feel like if you just, put an ideal job description together and just post it and see, who would come in to apply? Is that something that you might try?
That's something I should try. It's going to cause issues with one member of the management team.
Okay. Which maybe is that might not be a fit for your team anymore.
Yeah.
So like, we struggle with terminations, and it is never easy for anybody to terminate anybody else. Like, I've gone through so many, and I've been terminated even when I was employed by others, and it's never easy on either party. But what it does is create a clearing for who is meant to be in your business, and it also creates a clearing on how you lead in that business. And so it's one of those necessary evils to sustain the operation that you're running, because you are the owner of this business, right? So the choices you make each day should be in your favor. No one is forcing you to have this particular team, right? Like, you can decide and say, you know what, it's run its course. Your time with us in this company in this role has run its course, and the growth for you here isn't here, and so we're going to have to eliminate your role, and we've created this new one that we are hiring for. And that could be also a way of restructuring what you actually need to have the relief that, if you've been sitting in this kind of suffering of tolerance of a lower quality level of operations because of you need somebody there, like, okay, but you always have the opportunity to restructure and reorganize and let go of and bring in, because you're the one steering the ship. And I think to give yourself permission at least to look, like who else might be out there that might be the perfect fit. And then when you find that person, before you extend the offer, think about, okay, if that person came in and yes, it might create conflict with this other person, then I think I'm willing to take the risk to let that other person go because this, you know what I mean? Like you'll assess it once you actually have the right person in front of you. But this compromise that it sounds like has been going on for a few years of what you truly desire and need so that you can be at your best, I think that has to stop, for your own wellness. Because if you're chronically getting sick, I'm someone that when I'm under stress and I don't listen to the signs, it 100% affects my health, like 100%. It shows up for me in injuries and digestive issues and weight gain. Those are the three indicators for me. And I tell people I turn very slothy. I become like a sloth, like I'm like moving in slow motion through mud, kind of thing. When I don't actually face my truth of this is not working for me and I have to change it. Like and then once I make that change, then the beautiful thing about it is like you have an amazing support structure. You have Crystal, you have me now. Like you could just reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling in this thing. I know I need to make this shift. So what do I need? What's the next best step? Right? Like how do I create this clearing because I can't carry this weight anymore? I think it would be a really cool exercise for you to try just to see who else is out there in your market that might be the perfect fit.
I know I need to find somebody who's more like higher level operationally inclined.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting it and yet afraid to look for it because I know it's going to cause conflict.
Okay.
And I think I need to just bring it to a head and let the conflict happen. And if that person needs to leave, then that person needs to leave.
That's right.
If they can't handle it.
Right. Like it's a business is the main reason why these people are involved in your life. Right.
Yeah.
And it's because of the work life. And so the work is changing. The demands for the expertise in the work is changing. I also think you have this opportunity because you want to build this like e-commerce side of things. If you will let this job description also include managing e-commerce sales, like you're changing the actual needs of the business too. And so what if this person you find not only is a better operational manager, on-site manager, but also is running your online business because they go hand in hand. Online orders still have people coming to the store. So the operations person has to understand both levels of business, which is a much more in-depth job description that your existing team doesn't qualify for. And so when you communicate, in the preparation for conflict, right? Like it's really like as the steering leader of this business, you say, I totally understand. This is frustrating. Our business has changed. The skill set requirements have changed. So I have to go outside to find that person because unfortunately the skill set you have and what you're able to do for me does not fit this new job description. And it's not about the person, it's about the job. And I think we have to create those containers and the communication style for us to lead our business a certain way, but then also know that they're not qualified. And it's very clear why they're not qualified because the description is demanding more and their performance in their existing job potentially is also subpar. So like, why would you give them a promotional more to do?
Yeah. The crazy thing is the person that I know is going to have issues with it. They can stay in their current position. They're doing great, doing what they're doing. And we need that. But they think that they can do
the more
all the things, but they can't. And they certainly, but coming at it from an operational standpoint of the website, might be a way to get their mind kind of around it, because they know that that's not their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And
And when you do organizational restructuring, and this is just a tip for anybody like listening and watching too, it's really good to check everybody's job description at the same time. Because it's almost like the way you want to look at your business is say, okay, as a business, I know I need these expertise, and you have the expertise. And then I know I need this level of management to run the expertise to do these services across the business. So I'm using a lot of hand gestures for those listening, but it's basically like a grid. So that you can see the map of like, what do I actually need? And then you create your job descriptions from that need. So you need like an operational store manager that manages online and in-store orders, that manages the team, that manages the schedule, right? Like, so the job description starts coming together for the highest level manager that you're going to have in the store. Then you need just a night manager that takes this shift, or you need, inventory manager that has this piece, or you need, the curation of the displays is right? Like, so you start really putting your job description in for everybody. Because what's awesome about saying, well, we're reorganizing the roles and responsibilities for everybody is that now everybody gets a brand new job description that and you can even demand that everyone has to apply again to keep their job, that they're measured, but this is what they're going to be measured on for performance in their job going forward. So if it was more lax than the past, this is such an opportunity to create an employment structure for you that makes it like a no question why, if someone's below the bar, why you would let them go. If someone's above the bar in performance, why you would promote them. Because now you're super clear on what you're leading and running.
That's really interesting, because I've been thinking about that. Maybe like currently we have 2 assistant managers and 2 key holders, and each one of them has their area of expertise. And I've been thinking about redefining their roles and making them like merchandising manager, inventory manager, balloon manager, costume manager.
Yes.
And really like making it so that they're not, that hopefully they have more like acknowledging their expertise and giving them more pride, and also a little bit more specificity to their role.
Yes, on what to show up and then it's less overwhelmed too. And then make sure you create a redundancy plan for each of them, right? So if so-and-so's off, the other person still has to know to do these tasks, right? Like, so there's the team aspect of it too. So you have coverage, but that clarity, Katie, that clarity for you and your whole team, not only is it going to bring you relief because you articulated exactly where you see everybody, but also where they fall, but then also so much easier to articulate the gap.
Yeah.
It's like, because this is all happening, now I need to hire for this because that's what's missing and I don't want to play that role, right? Yeah. So it's going to be so much easier then to craft the job description and then see who's in the market that can come work with you. But everybody on the same page of change, versus a lot of people have made this mistake where they like bring in someone new because of a pain, but they never articulate to the existing team why it's happening. Yeah. And then that's why conflict arises. So having strategic direction as to why change is happening, what you recognize and want to celebrate. You're awesome at doing all our balloon displays and we get like hundreds of requests a day. So thank you. So this is you're our balloon master. Like, here you go. It's like, and that's your role now. Thank you very much. And then everyone understands exactly what they're doing. I love that approach for you.
Yeah, I can see how that finally, I think I can see how I can bring somebody in without it being just a disaster.
Disruptive. Yeah, good.
Like we haven't ever hired a manager from outside. We've always promoted from within. But I've got nobody to promote, and I haven't had anybody to promote. So, like,
that's great. Yeah.
And that's where it's weird because you are evolving and it's hard because you're doing something that's new, you haven't ventured into. So that can kind of feel
Mhm.
scary. And as we're having this conversation, it's actually very funny. I just rewrote everyone's job description this week
Wow.
for my team. And it was so good because you do see, I was like, man,
Yes.
a big reason I did it is I have expectations that if I'm not communicating the expectations, then how does anybody know what I am expecting? And how can I also feel really confident that my business is being ran the way I want it to be ran if I don't have these things in place and we don't have these scorecards and whatever. So this is very timely episode, but as I'm listening to you guys, I feel like there's this thing with entrepreneurs. I've heard it from friends, talk to retailers, that it's very challenging to face that conflict with team. Like we will just put up with it for a very long time because it's almost easier to put up with it than to face it head on. We don't like conflict or we don't like change, but man, it does wear us down. It does
Mhm.
create stress. It can hurt the other team members. So I guess I was just kind of curious, Kareen, if you could share like how do we face that? Like, how do we change our mindset around it?
Yeah. Okay. So conflicts are definitely going to happen. Just like you're definitely going to get disappointed. It's going to happen. That's just like, this is just in business in general and working with people.
Yes.
Here's what's beautiful. So in my book, Lead with Value, that book has facilitation exercises on how you set your code of conduct on how you operate when conflict arises. So what's beautiful about this exercise, when you do it with a team up front and say, hey, this is how we operate. When there is a conflict, this is how we're going to address it. This is how we're going to approach resolving it. And this is how we're going to move forward. Because now you have a system around conflict resolution, conflict management, that when it happens, you hit it as soon as it happens and it doesn't allow it to sit and fester. Unless you have a model of conflict resolution as part of your culture, it will just boil up. Volcanoes will happen, like erupt all over the place. Someone will shut down, and it creates a culture that isn't what you wanted in the first place. So my approach on that is really, when things are going well, you're setting your code of conduct on, well, when things do actually go south, what do we do and how do we approach it, and how do we hold accountability to each other that we're going to call it out and find resolution for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
an example.
yeah.
No, go ahead, Crystal.
Well, I was just going to say what I love about that is that you're being proactive and setting it in place so then you don't have to deal with it when you are in the conflict, which you're not always showing up as your best self. You might feel more heated or more stressed or more emotional, like however that is coming up. And so I like it being proactive. And then this is just what we do. It creates black and white. There's no gray area. Would love to hear your example.
Well, yeah, so like a framework example, because in the facilitation exercise, you design it as a team, what works best for you. But one example could be, and I just did this with a few partners in business recently, because we never wanted like a 2 against 1 scenario. So we had to kind of talk through, okay, when a conflict arises, each person has a time box of sharing their point of view. Right? So it is known what it is that they see or what they feel conflicted about. So it's like 2 minutes you get to share, 2 minutes the other person gets to share. Then the next step would be, okay, now what do we propose for resolving this conflict? So I propose, and you give the proposal that this happens and this happens, right? Then if it's like, well, I counter propose, then because everybody in the room now or whoever's involved does a counter proposal. Well, I hear you, but so that like each point of view is kind of getting into proposal mode. And when you use the language proposal, it creates an opening for acceptance. It's not saying do it this way, right? You're not like triggering someone or pointing them or being condescending, right? It's I propose, I counter propose. Again, this is language that you define for it. But you'll find that when you do that, it quickly disseminates the emotion because you got it out in the first 2 minutes, right? and it gets to resolving something. Like, what is the solution? How are we moving forward? And it's really important also in that code of conduct to say we will always talk to each other in a respectful way. This is about moving things forward in the business. If it's a personality conflict, we take that out, outside of the workplace or whatever it is. But when we come together, the values of this business are this, and this is how we choose to show up for each other. And it just gives you a way to stand in it together.
Yeah, I love that. Katie, sorry, I totally chimed in with my own therapy question here, but
this is very useful, and I think we need to go through this also.
Yeah.
Our team is not high conflict now, but we've had periods of high conflict, and if that happens again, it would be a good.
You need a format.
Yeah.
Before it happens, discuss how you're going to approach it when and if it does happen. Because then you have your method. It's best to design this actually when everything is going well. It's good to design, well, what happens if we have conflict with each other? Because then let's just articulate the steps we're going to go through.
Totally.
Yeah, that's
great. I love this. Katie, I mean, I feel like this went by so incredibly fast. I feel really excited for you. When this drops, it's going to be after Evolve, and I think you're coming to Evolve, right?
Yeah, and Dana's too, so.
Good. Okay, Kareen's going to be there, so you can meet her in person, and we could check in on you, because this is my vision for you, is like you're in such a period where of evolution, of you see a gap that really needs to be filled with management, as well as the e-com aspect that has been weighing on you for years with Party City going out. Your customers are demanding it. It's time. So like, it's so time to add the pieces, the roles that you need to support you, because you started this whole thing of I'm having a hard time getting things done, but that's really, you need the right people to support you. Like Kareen said, you are the innovator, you are the creator. And so you need that team to really support you so you don't feel like you're not getting stuff done. And having this new restructure, having, some things in place if there's ever conflict in the future, not saying that it's happening now, but just to really set you up for success. I want to see this. I know we've got a month to evolve, but like some progress, to getting there so you feel more supported. How does that feel? What are your thoughts?
I feel good about this. I feel good about at least the first step would be kind of redefining everybody's roles. And I've been talking to a few Party City employees, and hopefully I'll be able to get at least one of them on board, and at least one of them will fill some of my gaps. But if I could get my existing team into a place of acceptance of it and not feel threatened. There's only one person that I think would feel threatened. But I could be wrong. Who knows? But getting everybody, getting everybody more settled into their roles and more confident in their roles, then that would give me more freedom to do what I want to do with hiring different people. And yeah, I like that. I don't know if anything will happen precisely on the website portion of it, but at least I can in a month I can start to take the steps to set the foundation so that I can move forward on that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have to clear the capacity for yourself to even think about the site. Right now, you're too in the weeds because of, how your team dynamic is or how things are running. So when you can get yourself out of the weeds by bringing in or restructuring the existing team, that is going to be the time where you start looking at the e-commerce side of things. That would be the priority I would go after. It's like clean the house you're in now and then do the addition.
Yeah. Love it.
It feels doable.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And empowering. Because my hope is from this conversation too, Katie, is that you felt like you can get back in charge as opposed to feel like you're a hostage to the operation you currently have.
Yeah, I often feel so much guilt because I can't get myself to do the nitty-gritty tasks of the thing, but I guess I need to reframe my thinking and that's not my role.
That's right.
And
but you can hire for it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Such a good conversation. Katie, thank you so much for being here and opening up. I always like to end these sessions by asking our retail guest what one piece of advice they have. So what advice would you share for our listeners?
I guess don't be afraid to have big ideas. I think a lot of the ongoing success of our business is that I am not afraid to change things up, even though I'm not the greatest at actually getting the things to happen. But I can't tell you how many times I've insisted on refixturing our store, reorganizing our store, trying different products, trying different things. And I don't think you can just be complacent and do things the way you've always been doing them. You've got to take risks and make changes, even if it's scary.
Wow, such good advice. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Katie, how can people learn more and connect with you?
I'm very active in whiz-bang retailers. On Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Our business is Affordable Treasures Los Gatos. I think there's a couple of thrift stores, various parts of the country that are called Affordable Treasures, but we are the only party toy fun store.
Okay, yeah, and we'll link to it, of course. And Kareen, how can people connect with you and learn more?
Yeah, so best way is to leverage my app. It's at heykareen.com. And if you want to connect with me directly, I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn. And so I'm happy to support you in that way as well.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much. This was such a valuable conversation. Once again, I so appreciate you both. And everyone, remember that I am rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.